Now, football authorities in South Africa will go into the Christmas break proud of their efforts that have been put together to ensure that a lot of the proceedings have gone together and gone to plan for the most part as well, especially around COVID-19 and that pandemic for this year. This comes, of course, after fans, unfortunately, were starved of football for 5 months. The season, though, did resume with plenty of exciting action and, of course, a new sponsor. A number of measures had to be, however, put in place in order to try, at the very least, to guarantee the safety of everyone that was involved in the completion of the season and beyond.
Norkovic laying the ball short towards Manyama. Here comes Manyama.
COVID-19 brought about a challenging year for football, and it forced South African football administrators to be innovative to save the sport. After a few matches in the second round of the 2019-2020 season, football was suspended when the country went straight to level 5 of lockdown imposed by government.
The National Coronavirus Command Council has decided to enforce a nationwide lockdown for 21 days with effect from midnight on Thursday, the 26th of March.
But prior to the official announcement by President Cyril Ramaphosa, the Premier Soccer League had already announced the suspension of its matches.
As the most important measure, the Executive Committee this afternoon resolved, one, that the games played tomorrow and Wednesday are all suspended, and that games in the weekend also are suspended. That there will be an urgent meeting of the Executive Committee and the Board of Governors on Thursday the 19th. We will be discussing these issues and canvassing and giving them information that is available to us, because there are challenges that are being faced at this point in time.
From the early stages of the lockdown, the PSL and the South African Football Association worked tirelessly to plan for the return of football. Although there were ups and downs, both parties finally came to an agreement about the processes to be followed to allow for football to resume. The proposal to the Minister of Sports was approved. Some of the measures included the regular testing of players and club officials inside the biological safe environment.
It's going to be a staggered type of resumption, so that we go to full-blown match where everyone is actually there. So there's staggered. There's a week thing. First week there's something that you need to do with fewer people, observing social distancing. Second week again, then you add more numbers. Perhaps maybe that's when you can have your departments coming in, and then the last week that's when you can have the full complement team, because then that helps with preparing the muscles. It also helps again with dealing with the 14-day quarantine period after you have actually tested, because with the test you need to also deal with the fact that there might be false negatives. So that's the plan.
Some of the other sporting codes, such as netball, cricket and rugby, copied some of the ideas that were implemented to ensure their return to action. The proposed plan by SAFA and the PSL was also acknowledged by FIFA. When soccer finally got underway, Kaizer Chiefs were top of the log with a good lead over Mamelodi Sundowns, who went on to be crowned champions. Amakhosi maintained their lead at the top until the last day of the season. After the resumption, Ernest Menendop and his troops were a different team from the one that had obtained first position prior to the lockdown. They dropped points at crucial stages, and at one point Menendop seemed a man who had lost hope. They had led for 28 of the 30 match days and were edged out by Sundowns on the last day of the campaign.
Mamelodi Sundowns are champions of the ABSA Premiership for the 5th time in 7 years. It's 10 up, La Decima completed. 12 times champions of South Africa. They are the kings of the ABSA Premiership, and it's only appropriate that they be the last ones to lift this trophy. What a pity there's no one sitting in those stands to witness it and to share it with them. But that is the kind of season it's been. It's been extraordinary, and we salute a most extraordinary team, the Yellow Army, a team of winners. The Brazilians have done it again.
The possibilities in our own hands, and being second after having over 28 match days the position 1. Of course, it's disappointing. Congratulations to Mamelodi Sundowns and to Pitso. They won it good. That is basically in the moment what I can say.
Because when the tough was going on, a lot of people didn't believe in the team. A lot of people didn't believe in me. Only the Yellow Nation, those who come here every time, those are the people who support us. But first I must thank my family now, because they were behind me during difficult times. And we had a lot of pressure outside and internal in the club, to be honest. People doubting me. But God is there for me. These boys made it possible for me to kind of look back at those people and say, what are you saying now? Look at me now.
Serino, still Serino! Into the back of the net! He grinds one! Gaston Serino opens up.
While Chiefs players returned home empty-handed, Sundown season was not complete and they had to return to the bio bubble. They also had to challenge for the Nedbank Cup against Bloemfontein Celtic. The Brazilians beat Siwelele 1-0 to complete their treble trophy season. Sundown's historic treble success was somehow overshadowed by the administrative error the club made in the Nedbank Cup final against Celtic. They slipped up, naming suspended Tebogo Langaman on their team sheet on the bench. The matter reached for arbitration, where the case was thrown out after the NSL handbook procedures for protests were not followed. Black Leopards survived relegation after winning the PSL promotion relegation playoffs. They had managed to do enough during the bio bubble to qualify for the playoffs. Polokwane City were automatically relegated, while the Elite League welcomed Glad Africa Championship champions Swallows FC. Thembazwane was the big winner at the annual PSL Awards, where he walked away with the Football of the Year award, Midfielder of the Year and Players Player of the Year voted for by his peers. The Sundowns women's team was crowned champions of the inaugural National Women's League. The league was declared complete despite a few games remaining amid the COVID-19 outbreak. They went unbeaten and they will represent South Africa in the Women's CAF Champions League. On the international stage, Pitso Msimane was appointed head coach of Al Ahly in August, just a month after extending his contract with Sundowns. Since joining Africa's team of the century, the former Bafana Bafana assistant coach has not disappointed in his delivery.
Thanks God, things have gone the right way. We haven't lost a game up till now. Touch wood, we don't jinx ourselves. And we have received least number of goals, which, I like to play a little bit conservative. If I feel that we have to close the game, I close it. And if I feel that we have to turn the volume up and move on, and we have scored goals, beautiful. Average of two goals per game.
Bafana Bafana played just 4 matches this year. Safa was able to sneak in 2 international friendly matches against Namibia and Zambia. The matches form part of the preparation for the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. Molefi Ntseki and his Chargers did not perform according to expectation, playing to a draw against their neighbours Namibia and losing to Zambia. In the qualifiers against Sao Tome, Bafana Bafana put in a performance that saw them claim back-to-back victories. The island nation did request that their home match be played in South Africa to avoid COVID-19 complexities back home. It worked in Ntseki's favour and gave Bafana Bafana a strong chance of representing the country in Africa's most prestigious competition. Banyana Banyana once again dominated the regional COSAFA tournament, winning it for a 4th successive year. Desiree Ellis selected a fairly young team with an aim to gain valuable international experience at senior level. The defending champions finished top of Group A undefeated and without conceding a goal. The team further went on to knock out Malawi in the semi-finals to book their place in the final, where they locked horns with Botswana for the ultimate prize. Botswana was the same country that shattered the Olympic dreams of Banyana Banyana, knocking them out in the first round. Sibulele Holweni netted 8 goals in the tournament to scoop the top scorer award, while Hilda Mahaya was voted player of the tournament. Holweni was part of the young group of players that Ellis selected for the FIFA Women's World Cup the previous year. The COSAFA tournament was the only chance for the locally based Banyana Banyana players to get some competitive game time. Due to the global COVID-19 pandemic, friendly international matches, qualifiers for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations and the actual tournament had to be cancelled. Despite all of that, Ellis was pleased that she was able to assess the new players as she plans on expanding the pool of players to select from, with most of the senior players reaching a period where their international careers are coming to an end. This year would have given Ellis enough time to prepare for a new generation of Banyana players. Football in South Africa was played under tough circumstances, and when the year was meant to end on a high, having achieved all objectives on the football pitch, tragedy struck. 2 players died in separate car accidents. Former Genk player Anele Ngonga lost his life after signing a 1-season loan deal with Amazulu from Sundowns. 3 days after he was laid to rest in his hometown of Gugulethu in Cape Town, his teammate at Sundowns, Mujeka Madisha, also lost his life when his car burst into flames. Although DNA results have not confirmed whether Madisha was indeed one of the occupants in the car, it's believed that he was the driver of the vehicle. SABC News.
Well, more news for you at 2 p.m.